All right. Story number 2. Now, this has been another 2-day back and forth. Another 2-day back and forth. We have the street poet Plies, who is an advocate for Kamala Harris, and he made some statements that sound like Steve Harvey. He made some very Steve Harvey-like statements. So let's take a look.
Just real quick, but to everybody who, especially the ones who look like me, and the men who look like me, who quick to, if Kamala want my vote, she need to explain herself to me what she gonna do for the black people. Listen, stop asking a motherfucking black woman to explain themselves to you, or explain themselves to y'all. If y'all ain't willing to ask a motherfucking white man, then motherfucking explain himself. Y'all cool with the white man not explaining his motherfucking self to you. Oh, the motherfucking black, she need to explain herself to me what she gonna do for the black community. She want my vote, she need to explain herself. You ain't motherfucking asking the white man to explain his motherfucking self. You too motherfucking scared to ask him. Motherfucking somebody need to explain something to y'all. Well, she been...
The way he says it sounds very Uncle Ruckus.
In office already 3.5 years. Why she ain't do all the things she said she was gonna do? Cause she ain't the motherfucking president, that's why. When you go to the motherfucking McDonald's, that lady that's the motherfucking manager, she don't get to do what the fuck she wanna do.
That's a crazy analogy. He's comparing the White House to McDonald's. I feel like Chris Rock did that at some point. That feels like a Chris Rock joke. That comment inspired by a Chris Rock joke.
I can give you some motherfucking fries, but that's about it. Some free motherfucking fries. That's about all she can motherfucking do. But she can't change the price of that motherfucking quarter pound up there. Or that motherfucking Big Mike. That ain't that motherfucking lady White House. She just like the motherfucking man. You motherfucking fall in line. Now, if you can get some motherfucking free fries out every now and again, you get some motherfucking free fries out. But y'all motherfucking know this. Most of y'all. But y'all just want something to motherfucking say. Now, if she was the motherfucking president and didn't do something, then that's a whole different motherfucking ballgame. And the same motherfucker who the motherfucking black woman need to explain this. Y'all the same motherfucker when Barack was running. He wasn't motherfucking black enough for you neither. And a lot of y'all, I didn't figure out what y'all getting confused.
Barack was different though. I mean, the thing with Barack was it took a long. I personally, I feel like black people were the last people to think Barack had a chance at winning. When he was running, you're like, oh yeah, he's great, speaks so well, everything is dope. I like his energy. But I don't think black people, we were so used to so many different, extremely qualified black candidates run for president, run for high office, and at some point they get stomped down. We were so used to that black people, I don't think we really believed. I remember black people specifically not believing he really had a shot. Probably all the way up until the second or the last or second to last debate, when it really got down to him in the primaries. After that, it was like, oh, we definitely vote for him now. But that was a big difference. That was the first time. And there's a lot of people that feel like Barack didn't do enough for black people. Some people say he didn't do anything for black people. I personally like healthcare and cameras on cops. I know the line is, well, we need something exclusively for black people. But that's how the legislative process goes. So I'm not mad at anybody who's fighting for the next step. I think that's how progress is supposed to go. But I don't think black people really thought Barack was going to win in the first place. We were like the last group to really believe it just based off our own lived experience.
Y'all don't even want motherfucking black. Y'all want ignorant. That's what you motherfucking want. A lot of y'all think ignorant mean black. And that's why some of you motherfuckers like Trump, because he motherfucking ignorant. But I'm here to motherfucking tell you, everybody black ain't motherfucking ignorant. And everybody white ain't motherfucking smart. So put that in your motherfucking pipe and motherfucking smoke it. It's real.
All right, so that's Plies. Plies says that, and everybody's upset. Everybody gets so mad. Everyone is thinks Plies should punch himself in the face. Because Plies have framed this as, why y'all asking a black woman to explain herself, you don't ask a white man to explain yourself? Well, they're running for public office. They're running for public office. Like, yeah, you should ask everybody running for public office to explain themselves. Now, I don't think that he did a great job of explaining what he means by whatever he's saying, to be honest, because to me, as I say all the time, I don't trust any of these Confederates around Trump. So I'm in a different spot. That whole Confederate thing is loud and proud right now. He doesn't really explain that. He kind of stops at, don't ask Kamala questions because she's black. And that it's 2024. Nobody's going for that. Nobody's going. The people fighting against that have way more experience, way more reps, and way more energy and people who agree with them. So Plies got jumped on, and one of those people was Charlamagne the God.
Plies is absolutely, positively wrong. If people are asking questions, that's great. I don't even know why Plies is making this a black woman versus black man thing. This isn't about black men and black women. It's about elected officials and potential voters. The whole point of campaign season is for candidates to go out there and explain to the American people why they should be the one in charge of this country. Votes are earned, not given, and they are earned through you going out there and explaining yourself. Vice President Kamala Harris has to go out there and explain her agenda and why she's the person for the job. Former President Donald Trump has to go out there and explain his agenda and why he should be the person to get his job again, or get the job again. I don't understand Plies or any black person for that matter telling black people to just settle. Just accept whatever the candidate is giving you. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah, but
just vote. They don't have to explain
long,
anything to us.
They've been doing it for a long time. Even with Biden, when we ask questions to Biden, well, it's the best of two evils. You know what I mean? You got to pick one. But no, if you have questions, people should be able to ask. That's the point of a politician, right? They're supposed to represent us, represent our district, represent our country. Shouldn't we ask?
And by the way, they should be explaining without us asking. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of them doing these press conferences and these meetings. Yeah. The same way these politicians have meetings for their donors and they have rallies and press conferences explaining themselves and their agendas to certain groups, they should have to explain themselves to black people the same way. Plies is 1,000,000,000% wrong.
Right. And I agree. I agree that Plies is wrong, and I don't agree with Plies either. Now, the thing that I think is a little bit different is that we act as though both parties are the same. Now, I think their mega donors are the same when it comes to the banking industry, the aerospace and defense industry, just certain things like that. But there's a huge difference between, where the majority of the donor money comes from. Don't get me wrong, the big donors are on both sides of this thing, but there's a lot of individual donors on the blue team. So to a degree, just generally speaking, because they're such a diverse tent, they have a lot more issues they have to cater to. Now, my problem is black issues are always last. Black issues, especially with affirmative action being taken away now, right? That was a red team thing. If the blue team was allowed, if Obama was allowed to place his Supreme Court justice, or had Hillary won or someone on the blue team won, we wouldn't have gotten these Confederate judges on the Supreme Court that wouldn't be looking at Roe v. Wade this way, that wouldn't be looking at affirmative action this way. Chances are that wouldn't have happened because of their base. The base is more diverse and dynamic. The red team base is very monoline, and it's more diverse. So I don't think these two parties are – I think one party offers more of an opportunity than the other party. I don't think that they're the same. I do not think they're the same. But I don't agree with Plies either. But Plies got so much blowback that he bucked back today. Here's what Plies said today.
It's real motherfucking simple with me. Until Kamala Harris go to jail, until Kamala Harris become a convicted felon, until Kamala Harris file motherfucking bankruptcy 6 times her and her company, until Kamala Harris is impeached twice, until Kamala Harris is indicted 4 motherfucking times, until Kamala Harris is found liable for sexual abuse, until Kamala Harris is found guilty of motherfucking fraud and got to pay $300 and some motherfucking million, until Kamala Harris start a motherfucking insurrection, until Kamala Harris try to overthrow a motherfucking election, until Kamala Harris is married 3 motherfucking times, until
this list is getting long. It's a long list.
Kamala Harris have 5 kids from 3 different motherfucking men. Until Kamala Harris do any of that, she's a better motherfucking candidate to me. Now you do whatever you want to do with your motherfucking vote. But I'm not voting for no motherfucking rich white man to be able to do whatever the fuck he want to do. I'm just not doing it. I don't hate motherfucking women that much. And I damn sure don't hate a black woman that much. So you can vote for a motherfucking AKA, or you can vote for the motherfucking KKK.
You can vote for an AKA, or you can vote for the KKK. That went viral. I think people are going to start saying that. That one's going to travel. Now, wherever that framing came from, it's effective.
Whatever motherfucking K you want to motherfucking vote for. That's your motherfucking business. But Trump been telling you since 2017, he gonna show you that motherfucking healthcare plan. Has he shown you yet? He been telling you since 2017 that motherfucker coming in 2 weeks. It's gonna be big, it's gonna be beautiful. Has he showed you yet? He told you he's gonna overturn motherfucking Obamacare. Did he do it yet? He told you Mexico gonna pay for that funk ass wall over there. Did they motherfucking pay for it yet? He told you gonna raise motherfucking minimum wage. Did he do it yet? He was gonna lower the motherfucking price on prescription drugs. Did he do it yet? But she need to motherfucking explain something. She don't ever talk about her. Yes, she motherfucking do. You just don't want to motherfucking hear. That lady told you she trying to get $25,000 motherfuckers who trying to buy homes. Trying to build 3 more motherfucking million homes. Trying to lower the drug prices for everybody, not just the elderly. Trying to get tax cut to the middle motherfucking class. That like trying to no tax on tips or whatever the hell it is. That lady telling you what she trying to motherfucking.
Trump has tax on tips too.
You just don't want to motherfucking.
No tax on tips, my bad. Trump offered that idea, and Kamala has that idea as well. So they both meet in the middle on that one.
Yeah.
So there's Plies. You can vote for the AKA or the KKK. Now, you guys know me. I don't trust the Confederates around Trump, and here's a big reason why. This also broke today. Republican group cites notorious Dred Scott ruling as reason Kamala Harris can't be president. Dred Scott is the rule that said black people do not have the same rights as white people, and therefore there is no law that affects white people that white people are required to respect when it comes to black people. All right, this Republican group, the National Federation of Republican Assemblies, NFRA, has cited the infamous 1857 Dred Scott Supreme Court decision, which stated that enslaved people weren't citizens, to argue that Vice President Kamala Harris is ineligible to run for president according to the Constitution. There's a lot of originalists, these Confederates, they call themselves originalists now. Clarence Thomas is an originalist. He's a Confederate too. He's the Uncle Ruckus Confederate. Samuel Alito is an originalist. These guys who want to go back to, who base current modern day legislation and legal ramifications off of the original intent of the Constitution, which the founders of the Constitution always thought was going to be a living document that would be updated. The group also challenged the right of Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley to appear on Republican primary ballots. The Republican group's platform and policy document noted that the constitutional qualifications of presidential eligibility states that no person except a natural-born citizen shall be eligible, or a citizen of the United States at the time of adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of president. The same document included former President Donald Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, on a list of preferred candidates for vice president. People are asking me, why do I keep saying these Confederates around Donald Trump? Well, this is a Confederate thing. This is the most Confederate, Dred Scott is the most Confederate-friendly ruling ever, and here goes J.D. Vance being represented as their preferred choice for vice president. The document and the citing of the Dred Scott decision were initially noted by lawyer Andrew Fleischman on X. The group, which adopted the document during their last national convention held between October 13th and 15th of last year, goes on to argue in the document that a natural-born citizen has to be born in the U.S. to parents who are citizens when the child is born, pointing to the thinking of Supreme Court Justices Anton Scalia and Clarence Thomas. I messed up his name. It looks funny to me. For some reason, I always thought it was Antoine Scalia. So it says, an originalist and strict constructionalist understanding of the Constitution in the Scalia and Thomas tradition, as well as precedent-setting U.S. Supreme Court cases, have found that a natural-born citizen is defined as a person born on American soil of parents who are both citizens of the United States at the time of the child's birth, the document states. The group then cites 6 cases, including Dred Scott versus Sanford. The 1857 ruling came a few years before the 1861 outbreak of the U.S. Civil War over the issue of slavery, stating that the enslaved people could not be citizens, meaning that they couldn't expect to receive any protection from the courts or the federal government. The ruling said that Congress did not have the power to ban slavery from a federal territory. Now, this is what these groups do. They take legal precedent. They look at the Constitution in a strict originalist context and apply that to things that are happening today. In this case, they're bringing back Dred Scott decision, which has been viewed as one of the worst decisions by the Supreme Court in history, to challenge the status quo that if you're born here, you're a citizen. They want to take that one level up and say that, well, your parents have to be born here too, or have to be here at the time you're born, right? On its face, it might not sound that crazy to a lot of people, but once they bring back Dred Scott, then Dred Scott becomes more relevant in itself from a legal standpoint. So they're using that case as a reason why Kamala, Vivek, and Nikki Haley shouldn't even be eligible to run for public office. This is what I mean when I say these Confederates around them. This is why I call them Confederates all the time. The red team has got the Confederates, and this was in Alabama. This is probably Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. That's the most, I mean, that whole area is crazy. I grew up in South Carolina, North Carolina. We've had a lot of transplants from New York coming down to the Carolinas, and especially North Carolina, for a very long time. But the Deep South, it's a whole nother thing. Here's another reason why I call them Confederates. Texas removes 1 million people from voter rolls. 1 million people from voter rolls. Okay, they've been trying to find election fraud for 20 years. Trump made a whole commission for people who are voting illegally. And they found a black lady and they put her back in jail for 5 years because she didn't realize that after she got out of prison that she lost her right to vote, and she voted anyway. The rest of them have been red state people. But Texas are taking 1 million people off the voter rolls. More than 1 million people have been removed from Texas's voter registration rolls since the last presidential election. Governor Abbott said in a statement that the removals represent an effort to protect the right to vote and to crack down on illegal voting. 1 million people illegally voted. This never been proven. Never been proven. Okay? This could go on for a long time, but this is what I mean. You've got Plies over here saying, don't ask Kamala no questions. That don't sound right at all. Charlamagne's over here saying, we got to ask everybody all these questions. I think that's a great place to start, especially if we're working to improve our status, working to receive tangibles. Black community hasn't received tangibles since the Civil Rights Act. And then before that, since the end of slavery, everything else we've been a part of, which is dope. But at some point, we want to be prioritized. Plies claps back with, you can vote for the AKA or the KKK. And I call them Confederates around here because they trying to bring back Dred Scott, and they're dropping 1 million people from voter rolls in Texas. Okay. Well, that is what the Confederacy did. That is a very Confederate mindset. There are other people running, and people clearly aren't required to vote. Most people don't vote anyway. And there's a lot of point of views and perspectives, and people have different issues that are more important to them than others. But I don't know what the best way is to get people to agree. I think that's a fluid topic with a lot of fluid answers. I'm not sure if offending people is the best way to get them to support your primary issue. If you're one issue voter or a primary issue voter, I definitely think people need to be asking as many questions as possible. And again, like I said before, I ain't rocking with none of this Confederate stuff, and that's the only thing I've ever seen the red team do in my lifetime. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow at The Company Man on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views that's radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, dog. You don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.